everybody, welcome back to Storyboard Basics. Today we're going to talk about something that's very common, and a question I get a lot is how do you draw a face really fast? We've already talked about expressions, but how are you going to draw 6 or 7 or more characters at once quickly? If you look back at some of the other topics we discussed before about expressions and how you can go ahead and use simple expressions like we stated here, about using Lego faces that are very expressive and very simple in its shape to convey an expression or an emotion, and you can do those very, very quickly. Also, we talked about different shapes that we could use using Bridgman and blocks and other sources to kind of inspire you to get how people can look differently or characters for different panels. But what if you got 3 or 4 characters at once? I quickly want to go ahead and talk about a show I worked on recently a few years back called Under Wraps 2 with director Alex Zam for Disney Plus. So we had already established characters from the first film, so researching who this cast was a big deal. So first what you want to do is ask who the cast is or who you're looking to cast for these roles. This way you understand what they might potentially look like or what they actually look like, so you can get a really quick render of what these characters are going to eventually look like in your board or your panel. Develop a really quick, fast shape. You want to establish a shape language that will help differentiate one character from the next. Another simple thing I like to do is also using specific kinds of hairstyles. Hairstyles, usually asking what the character is going to look like potentially by an actor that might be or has been casted, and what their hairstyles will be, really help with being able to tell apart who is who in the page. One example is being able to draw one shape of one head for everybody and styling them slightly different. A person that does this very well is Jim Lee, head of DC Comics. Jim Lee has been one of my favorite comic book artists since I was 14 years old. I've been following his work since the Punisher War Journal, followed his work ever since. He's a huge inspiration of mine, and he draws the same face for every character. He adds slight variations to each character. If it's a different person, if it's a villain or a hero or just a supporting character, but he draws the same shape for every character and changes scale, and that's how he makes every single person different. And this should help you understand how one shape can be many faces through expressions and slight variations in hair, body type, clothing, etc. So let's dive in and get right into drawing some quick shapes, one face, different characters. Okay, so let's just get right into this here. We're just going to go ahead and get a clean sheet of paper here. Clean sheet of paper meaning starting from scratch. So what we're going to just establish and really work on here is to make sure that we understand the shape of the head. So we're just going to get one character like this, looking straight on. And if we look at what Jim Lee loves to do, is Jim Lee loves to always have these type of strong jaw lines, and he's learned from the Loomis method of how to have like the strong jawline, the basic shape, and everyone can look at the Loomis method to understand exactly. So this is like a really rough, really quick, right up here, right there is what I'm just showing. That's just so silly and quick, it's insane. But what I usually like to do is I just kind of get like this, and I kind of go, I have line, get your cross T's there, right? You're just gonna fade it out a bit, get rid of that guy a bit too. Okay, so we just got this guy here, and we're gonna have like this. So if we're gonna have one head here, and we're gonna have the nose like that, mouth, jaw. All right, then we're gonna have a bit of the brow area and eyes and eye. What we want to do is make sure that this character is going to be our main character. For our main character, I kind of always draw basic hair like this until they say change it to longer hair. Longer hair, how long? Is it going to be super long? Is it going to be, you know, short by past the ears? Usually they're going to say past the ears, and I kind of go, do you want Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon? They go, yeah, we want Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon. Then I'll just go like that. Really, really quick. So just so people can kind of see better, we're going to go back on some black ink here too, okay? Get my scrap paper here, make sure this one's all good. Oh, you can tell my daughter got into some of these pens here. Super cool and funny to see. And yeah, these are expensive pens. She loves to use the expensive pens, right? But I always try and find deals on them. So let's just kind of go here. Eyebrow. I'm just going to draw a really blank look on the face. Bigger eye, kind of like this. Remember that the eyes end here, the inner points of the eye on the inside of the skull area, the shape. We're going to have that. That's where the nostrils start. We're going to have it where the nose is, like this. Bit of that, like this, right? So we're going to have this here. Kind of look, oh, it looks like he's looking to the side. A bit more of a, hey, quizzical look here. We're going to have the jaw. This is by no means to say I'm drawing better than Jim Lee, because he's been a master at this longer than I've been alive. So how about we just say we're doing this really quick, and what we want to do is be able to get the basic shapes like this of the hair. Ear, sideburn. Little thing I learned from Jim Lee is he says everyone has the same ear. If you look at his ears, everyone has the same ear. Bit of a brow line there, hair, shirt. Always draw a V-neck shirt and a jacket. That's Adam's apple, V-neck shirt. I always draw that. That's literally who I draw for every main character, unless I know the main character is gonna look different. But my default is this. That took about a minute to do. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's clear enough to know character's looking this way. We're gonna have them about that big framed, and we know exactly that our main character is looking in this direction. So what if we have another character, and let's just say that this is going to be a female. We're going to do this, and I'm going to have a, see the chin line here is going to be less, okay? We're going to have less there. It's going to be a shorter chin line. Women do not have as wide of a chin, artistically especially. I mean, they could be, but artistically they don't. So we just we want them, the female characters, to look feminine. It's just how it is. Do not blast me in the comments about going ahead and being anti-woke and all up. No, it's none of that stuff. This is about being able to convey an image of someone quickly. There's a thing. I want to put an earring. The male character has an earring. Draw an earring. If it's a part of the character, or it actually helps define them visually against everyone else, draw the earring on the guy. Who cares? Talk to your production team. That's what this is about, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go here, get the shape area around the eyes. Remember, if a man has these broader jaw area, they're going to have smoother lines like this. It's going to be like a heart shape. You see the heart with a flat chin, the flat bottom. Instead of like this, that's the female look right there. It's a heart with a circle on the top. There you go. And then almonds for eyes. That's it. It's going to be almost alien-ish, right? We don't want to get into that. And then just follow this line here from the brow like this. Line down, up, really quick. Just an M with a curve. And line across and kind of go like that. If you're going to draw this, remember that the lip has meat to it and curves. So then we kind of go like this. If you always see that Jim always puts like a highlight thing, a little highlight dot, right? And so I'm just going to go edge there and point it up, almost like you got like the Egyptian eyes, like this. Better the eyelid above, line, and hair, just big tufts of hair. Even though you drew an ear, you're gonna go over it, doesn't matter. Like this, like that, curve, like this. Remember, it's all like folds, like drapery. The hairs are folds like drapery, like this. And we want to go this way here. Here we go. Just like that. Okay. Now, if you guys just want to see a bit more of me taking my time on doing some drawings, I always go on my Twitch channel on the weekends usually and just sort of draw one of those sketch covers, and I go on there and you see me kind of using different tools and trying to explore and figure it out. Now, when a man's chin meets the neckline, we have the Adam's apple, right? We have a bit of shadow there, so people like to draw a bit of shadow there usually too. So what we'll do is we'll go like this, a bit of a shadow, line, line, line. Under the chin, you always have a bit of shadow under the chin. You'll notice this in a lot of comics, or a lot of cartoons do this too, right? They always have a bit of a chin, and the neck usually starts where the jawline is. It kind of curves out. Remember, we did that a couple of episodes ago. So for the female, we're going to go, it's even thinner. So the female, we want here, we want it right like this. It's a bit hot on this guy here. I don't know if that's a bit better. You can see better, but yeah, basically here and here. So if the head goes like this, follow the line and follow the curve. So if you kind of go from the top of the head here and don't touch the paper, and then if she's looking 3/4 that way, Adam, and he's looking at her, we're gonna go ooh, like this and this way, like that. So it's almost, for the female head, we're gonna have a different shape slightly. So what we'll do is we'll just get rid of half of the lines. That's why I love kneaded erasers, but I think I need a new one. Even though I've had this for 10 years, I don't want to get rid of it, but I might need a new one because, like I said, someone's daughter loves daddy's tools. A lot of way to differentiate. You look at like Jim Lee's art, for example, Jim Lee, but a lot of other people do this. Dave Finch, you got Ed McGuinness, you've got all these other amazing artists out there. They're pros in the industry. And Jorge Molina, you've got so many, Art Adams especially. What they do is that there's less lines on the women versus more lines on the men. More detail, less detail. Softer, more masculine, right? So here we go. Bit in the nostril. And for the men, we can kind of go like that and add, even that under the eyes a bit like this. And we're just gonna go, it's like an almond shape. Bit of the eyelash there. Thinner brow, right? Thicker brow, thicker eyebrow area. Thin it out at the edge. More line on the hair. There we go, like this. And we have the lash that way to kind of show the direction of which way the eye is looking as well, right? So you want the eyes to kind of, the eyelashes to follow that way, right? So here we're gonna go like this, a bit of that, and a bit of the lips here. It's a bit of a thicker pen. I usually do this with a thinner pen, but we'll just use the edges of this one. This is a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen Marker. I love these things. There's quite a few different pens that I like to use. There we go. Oops, I kind of screwed that up, but you get the point. There we go. I kind of screwed it up. That's why I have to go slower, and I use thinner pens. I define my pencil lines way more before I go to the final. If this were on paper, like the professional, more higher end paper, this is like dollar store sketchbook paper. I'm always at the dollar store. I'm always buying sketchbook paper because me and my kid go through them like crazy. But what I like to do is just, I like to, if I do screw up, I do have this great stuff. If I can just find it here, I'll just quickly show and plug this puppy, because this has been a fantastic tool. Any kind of white paper, but bleed proof white, Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white is great. You just have a little bit of water on your brush, just swirl it in and paint on top. You let it dry in a second and you can keep working. You keep working, you ink on top, and this stuff works forever. It's great. Here we go. Go like this. This is really quick. This is like again, not perfect, but you get the idea. If this were on the iPad, this would never be an issue. It could just easily, on Procreate, double tap to undo, go back, and there we go. A bit more like this hair like that. There we go. Bit of the shadow there. There we go. You know how hair is layered like that, shorter front, longer back, like this. And again, V-neck like this. There you go. V-neck for the t-shirt. Always easy V-neck. Collar sometimes if you want, like, there you go, collar. What do we have to do? A villain or another bad guy? What we're going to do is we're going to go like this. We're just going to do the same shape for the guy, like this. Okay? Again. So say the villain is gonna be, usually you always sort of design your main villain to be the flip side of this character, of your main character, of your antagonist. The protagonist is, you know, they're going to be either side of the coin. So what we want to do is we want to, like, and let's just really play with the fact that this guy is the villain and he's going to look slightly down, kind of like how Lex Luthor was always looking down because he's looking down on Superman, right? And we're stretching out a bit of the facial features too, right? You stretch out the features for the villain to show that they are skewed. Their perspective is skewed. A great example of this character trait is described in Glass by Sam Jackson. And when he's at the art gallery and someone wants to buy a piece of art for their kid and he refuses to sell it to them because it's a piece of art. And out of everything M. Night Shyamalan does, Glass got it right. Or I should say Unbreakable. Glass was the final film in that little trilogy of Unbreakable, Split, and Glass was the final part. Finally, I'm glad he got to do Glass. I didn't think it was as strong as a film, personal opinion, but I'm glad M. Night Shyamalan was able to do it. So here we go. We've got our bad guy. And what if he's going to have hair? So that looks like Lex Luthor. But what if he's going to have hair? He's going to have slick back hair. And then one down. Like this. I'm going to have it smooth and slick back. Right? So that's how I want to get that guy done. And a bit of shadow under the eye. Like this. And you would, if you had a female character like this, you would literally shape it the same way. So if there he's lit from behind, slick back hair, he looks like every bad guy from every 80s movie. Successful, slick hair, brow. He's slightly looking down and he is going to, he's slightly looking down, go like this. You want to have a lot more shadows on this guy too. Like this here. Here we're just going to establish the bridge of the nose. And like this. There we go. Eyes look wonky, dude. I know. The eyes look a bit wonky. That's okay because this is just to establish things super fast. Line. How do you draw this fast? Draw every day. Draw 5 minutes a day. Doesn't matter. Draw every day. That's how you do this fast. You have to learn speed. The economy of storytelling relies on speed. If you want them to be devilish, there you go. 2 of them, like 2 horns kind of wagging in front of them. Like the hair doesn't like this. Line. We're just going to go like this, right? And establish that like this. And then we add some darker lines to it. We're going to add some shadows underneath the chin area like this. And you know what? I'm just going to use a fatter brush or chisel brush. This working? Okay. Did my daughter use it up? No, she didn't. She didn't discover this. Ooh, I'm going to hide it. I'm going to hide this one. Here we go. Adding that one there. Bit more shadows. A way of telling that you can tell immediately now this character is sinister. And you know what else helps? Widow's Peak hairline. Hairlines are very funny. if you want to just establish how the one, I mean, the shapes are the same, right? It's just the angle of, looking at us is different, right? The shapes are the same. So if I were to draw an evil female character, it's going to be exactly the same thing. She's going to look slightly down, and she's going to have a different expression on her eyes, right? So we're just going to go like this, go like this, a bit messier, and you can refine it later, right? And kind of like, and for this guy, I honestly, if I wanted to show like an open neck, right, a bit open jacket, here, this is what I'm going to do that's different. It's going to show this guy's different, right? He's just a cop that does a good job. This is the successful businessman that's going to just take advantage of everything. So he's going to, like, if we were to base everyone on Lex Luthor, which is the ultimate villain, everything is tight, corporate, like this. Collar of the shirt, there we go, tie, alternating lines of the tie, different colored stripes type of thing. You know what I mean? So he's closed off. You don't know the villain's plans all the time, right? He's the one he's closed himself off. He's closed himself up. He's revealing less. His jacket's buttoned up. His collar's up all the way. Tie is on tight. Open jacket, looser jacket, like this. If you look at how heroes are kind of described visually in shows, in comics, looser clothing, more open, right? Because they're more open towards people. People feel trust in them. They're able to put something else there and say, hey, I can help you. I'm willing to help you. I see something wrong. Let me help you. I don't want help from anyone. I'm going to take advantage of everything. This is mine. You can have it. Closed off, buttoned up, armored up, opened up, open and closed, looking down at you, looking at you, right? Looking on your same eye level. That's kind of how you describe how you're going to go ahead and tell your characters apart, okay? So that's how we do it. That's how we make one face or one shape and have many faces with just a few tricks, changing hair, angle of the looks, sort of things with the costume. Again, you talk with your production team about this, with your directors, your art directors, and everyone involved in telling the story visually. And these are just some of the tricks we do in order to kind of get this done really quick, really fast, and at least gets the next stage going for your projects. So again, if you like what you saw, you enjoyed your time here, I've enjoyed my time with you. So please like and subscribe, follow us for more, hit that bell for notification on the next video we're working on. We'll be working on next time for locations, props, and possibly building environments and perspective. Depends on which one it is. We're also going to work on our next book review of our storyboarding art book review. We're also going to work on our next book review. Either it's going to be the art of Blade Runner 2049 storyboards or the art of Game of Thrones storyboards. One of the two. We're holding off on our Ralph McQuarrie, as you can see on the bookshelf right there. We're going to hold off on the Ralph McQuarrie Archive Star Wars for a little bit later. I want to clean the table up a bit better and do a better video for that, because that is a very special book in my art history journey. So like, subscribe, hit that bell, leave a question in the comments. We're reading our comments. And remember to always keep drawing, and I'll see you in the next one.